Bit of silence, please. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 70 of the Shower Podcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host, Chip, and when was it the last time you stood in silence? I'm not talking about background noise, but complete silence. Now, I think that the most common one and the one that we experience every day, connected to yesterday's episode, but it's a bit of a coincidence in this case, it's sleep. When we go to sleep, we are in the utmost silence. And yet, and I'm the first one that experiences this, when I go to sleep and I don't really feel that sleepy or I want to help myself go to sleep, I put on some background noise or some background music very low to help me relax. And this speaks a lot about, I don't want to say it's fear, but it's hard for us to process silence, not being stimulated, I would say. Nowadays, especially in a world, because I think it's in every aspect of our life, we are constantly looking to optimize our time. We are constantly looking to fill these gaps that we have in our day. Be it while you do something, you try to multitask so that you are able to do more. When you do an activity, you try to get the best out of it, but not necessarily from getting the information, but making sure that you complete as fast as possible that task. Another problem that I have is, for example, with watching videos. And as I said, maybe also you listening to this. To me, if I have to listen at something at normal speed, it's hard, especially if it's something conversational. I'm always, putting it to, I would like to say 1.5, but it's always about 2 and above. And this is a problem. It's a problem not so much because you are trying to get that information fast. Again, as I don't want to say preach, but as I say in many of my other episodes, it's not so much the action itself. If you want to skip through a certain, portion of the video and you do it, at 2 times X to find the moment that you need, perfect, it's no problem. But if you are actually trying to listen and understand and be there consciously, so actually get something out of the content that you're watching, that kind of pattern, it's completely opposite to what you're trying to do. And I really don't know where this stems from. I think it's a matter of habit and exposition. When you see that everybody starts running around you, it's kind of hard to walk. I think this is the most human part of it and the most reasonable, let's say, kind of behavior that one could have. And I don't know if you've ever experienced, for example, meditating. That is let's say, I wouldn't say it's an activity for everybody necessarily. I've experienced it with it in the past. I did it a couple of times, didn't really stick with me, but mostly because I wasn't, let's say, getting the benefits that maybe one can look forward. Or, should I say even better, I was able to get that kind of feeling and that kind of relaxation from other activities. But it was nonetheless interesting, and I really recommend you to, because in the moment of silence, in the moment of absolute zero stimulation, strange things start to happen. You start focusing on, let's say, thoughts, feelings. It is kind of true, that you start, let's say, hearing your heartbeat. You start hearing any kind of noise and background noise that you absolutely ignored until that moment. And this is, again, your mind trying to fill those gaps as much as possible. And I think this is actually super counterproductive, because the moment of silence, it shouldn't be seen as an empty moment. It shouldn't be seen as a moment in which nothing is happening. But if you look at it from the other side, so not that you are not experiencing anything, but the things that you have experienced, the things that happen to you, be it in the most recent moment, 30 minutes before, 5 minutes before, or important things that happen to you, be it months before, years before, when you give yourself this time and when you give yourself this space in silence, your brain and yourself have a very rare opportunity to actually properly reflect on those things and understand more about it. The topic of today was inspired by, I was watching an interview of an artist, and he was, let's say, preaching the importance of silence and the fact that even when a single note, for example, is played, letting it resonate and not adding more is the pinnacle, of the experience that you can have out of that single moment. And then again, it's, bringing a case to an extreme that is not, let's say, per se necessary. But it was, let's say, intriguing. The nice thing was that he said this after listening to a kind of AI cover of his song where the model was trying to, let's say, make everything attached, fast, and not leave moments of space. And I think this is something that we really should consider a bias of these, let's say, tools that give us, let's say, productivity boosts. And specifically, I'm talking right now about these generative models, is that they're not really good at leaving empty spaces. They're not really good at giving space to something, leaving moments of silence. They're always trying to complete it with something because it is absolutely counterintuitive and counterproductive for their goal to do nothing. Whereas, we on the other side have convinced ourselves that is something bad, doing nothing, just having a moment to yourself, be it in silence, being non-productive, this space that you give yourself. We started thinking that, this is absolutely not normal. You should do something. You should be able to always be on the edge, always be looking for the next thing. But this also means that all the things that happen to you, and as I said before, all the things that you are trying to understand don't have the space to actually grow and become yours. And this is scary because it's not slowing down. So the only way that we can do it is if we artificially and actively, research and look for those moments. I don't have a solution. It's just a matter of practice and being deliberate about the actions that we do, and specifically about searching these kind of moments where you are a bit more relaxed, you're a bit more, where you give yourself space and stay in that silence. Enjoy it, even struggle through it, because again, as I said, it's not easy. The moment that you are used to 100, if you have to go to 0, that's a very big jump. So maybe do it progressively, start slow, but try to reach that 0 and understand what happens, because that will unlock, the other side of the medal that will show you a lot more than you actually, maybe you thought you didn't know. It was a bit of a special episode. I can understand that, but this idea popped into my mind, and as always, they are the fuel for these kind of episodes. Thank you very much for listening. Let me know in the comments, as always, if you have any point, any debate, if you agree, if you don't agree with me. I'm always open to discussion. Having said that, this was episode 70 of the Shower Podcast. Thank you very much for listening, and see you at the next one.